Alright, so we got round number 2, and this hand on the draw is pretty weak, I guess? I don't know. So I'm up against blue-white something. There's been some sort of a resurgence of red, white, and blue control, um, or American aggro, or whatever it's called. Alright, so his mistake is that he's going with the Masters Edition beta lands, whereas I'm going with the Mirage lands. I think that gives me a huge heads up in this matchup. Now, in these matchups, you want to play a more controlling style. Using your Snapcaster as a flash 2/1 creature is not the worst thing in the world. Because very rarely are you going to be able to use the Snapcaster to get a spell and replay that spell, especially when they're holding as much as they are. What you need to do is you need to force them to play on their turn, which is what they don't want to do. So I drew an Electrolyze, which is really nice because if I can get him to remand or mana leak it, I can play a click on my turn, I can snap, hold up, remand. It's a whole bunch of useful and enjoyable things I can do. So I'm just gonna electrolyze him, and Moto is gonna make it slightly difficult to do it. Alright, so now he's trying to figure out whether or not he could afford to counter this. And alright, he remanded it, which is really good. It gives me the opportunity to actually do something. So I think here I'm just gonna click. I know it's a main phase click, but if I do it on his draw step, it won't resolve. He has Snapcaster plus remand in his graveyard. So I'd be setting myself back a turn. This actually puts me way ahead. And if he wants to Path to Exile the Vendilion click, I'm even, I'll be happy to get ahead in the land race too. So, let's see what he's got. I'm fairly sure that he's, the classic play is to bolt or path the click as soon as it targets you, which isn't really the best idea because, I might not choose path or bolt. Alright, let's see what he's got going on. Oh, that's cute. He's playing a little Modern Miracles deck. And that's adorable, I guess. I don't know how good it is, but Condescend is a pretty scary card, but he just pathed my click, so I have access to the lands now. Condescend would be the greedy choice. I'm gonna just take away his draw spell. Now, I understand how powerful a draw, a 1-mana Wrath of God that, can be played as an instant can be, but in the end, is it worth playing in Modern? I don't think so. I know that people used to play Counterbalance in Modern Merfolk. Alright, so I'm going to Electrolyze him again. And I draw Serum Visions finally. Oh, that's nice. Tech Edge, my one of Tech Edge. Alright, I drew another land, and I got a Cryptic and a Remand. I don't think I want the Remand, though. And let me get rid of his man land, because that seems to be his win con. Either that or if I see an Entreat the Angels, I'm just going to laugh it off. Okay, he floated mana. Whoopee. That's exciting. But he didn't do anything with it. Aren't those lands nice? That mountain is so good looking. That's an original John Avon. I have those somewhere in my collection. I don't even know where. Oh god, it's Cobweb. Ah, run! Do I want to remand this? Of course I want to remand it. Why? Because on this turn, I can remand it without him being able to replay it. And he wouldn't have enough mana to counter it because I have enough mana to tap all my stuff. You know, minor things. This is going to be a long match, though, I can tell you that much. We're both basically playing around counter spells. And so, I mean, I guess Terminus makes perfect sense with Squadron Hawk because you can get the Hawks back, but it's just so weird. I think people have been trying to remake Cowboy in Modern now since Modern was created. I'm just going to draw a card at the end of his turn, showing you just the unbelievable power of a very, very simple looter in a riot. So, by the way, I noticed I have a lot of Israeli viewers. So, shalom. And what do I do here? What I could do is I can snap and electrolyze and get value out of that. I also have to worry about a Celestial Colonnade. It's a little worrisome, but I could also bounce his manlands. Like, one of the things that this deck is really good at is bouncing manlands. If you can bounce a manland, you set them back like a turn and a half. It's really, like, no one ever wants to see that, but it happens all the time. Okay, so if I do my math right and go for Electrolyze here, which they've made even more difficult to get with the update, Electrolyze, and then let's see, that's 1, 2, 3. That leaves me with 3 mana untapped, so his Condescend would not do anything. That's a good thing. I mean, he can do it. You know, it wouldn't be the end of the world, obviously. He can still scry, even if I pay the mana for it. The scry still occurs if the spell resolves. So, yippee. 1, 2. Oh, he had remand. If I okay, normally I would just remand the Electrolyze, but because it's flashback from my graveyard, it doesn't. I would that would just be bad. So here I actually have an extra Splinter Twin, so I'm gonna just attach a twin to my Snapcaster. I'm playing a dangerous game here. This is like when I used to play when I played Tarmo Twin at GP Richmond, and I put a Splinter Twin on my Tarmogoyf. It was very awkward for everyone. All right, that's fine. Actually, well, what I could do, I can counter and return the Snapcaster to my hand, which is not my dream scenario, but alright. I can counter return the Colonnade to his hand. I can remand it to draw a card, but it does absolutely nothing. I'm really, really going deep in this matchup. Like, I'm pulling out all my tricks. Alright, so I am countering, and I'm either countering draw a card or countering bouncing snap. I don't think he has an answer. He may condescend though, just for the scry 2, which is a terrible, terrible idea. Never ever waste a counterspell like that. Okay, now it's really easy online to miss this and press cancel When it's for 0, it's very easy to catch someone, and then if you don't press OK and you press cancel, you lose. Because it gets countered and blah blah blah. So I countered, drew a card, and drew a Splinter Twin. Just what I needed, more Splinter Twins. Now, since I don't have anything in my graveyard to flash back, I'm just going to make a copy of Snap. And actually, I may have a Serum Visions. I may have something I can use. Either way, it's, I do have a Serum Vision. Alright, so I'm getting, alright, that's good. Getting value off this. And remember, if this stays alive, I have access to like 1, 2, 3, like 3 counter spells and 6 points of burn, not to mention attacks. So that's, you know, you don't see this move too often. You very rarely have to pull it off, but when you do, it can be pretty valuable. It's like in the Moto Cube when you take Kiki-G or Splinter Twin, but you don't take Exarch and you don't take like Zealous Conscripts or Pestermite because you can get legitimate value. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, okay, so he's gonna Terminus here. That's fine. This is when Terminus becomes legitimately bad when you have it in your hand. Now, I've made people scoop before by playing Exarch and then putting a Splinter Twin on it on the same turn, just to see if they didn't know how the interaction worked. But I'm not going to do that here. This guy clearly knows what he's doing. I mean, he tried to build a Modern Miracles deck. You don't do that without some sort of knowledge of the format. Alright, so he goes for 2 more Hawks. I'm not really... He must only have in his hand... Let's see. The only card I know about remaining is another Terminus. So here I'm going to just draw a card. Alright, that's fine. I'll get rid of it, a Splinter Twin. Or a Bolt. It doesn't really matter. I'm going for the win this turn. Either this turn or next turn, so... I'm going to play Exarch with mana, with Remand mana. Not to mention I do have Snap, Bolt, Snap, which is good. Or Bolt, Snap, Bolt. I'm not quite sure. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. What was this? Condescend or Cryptic? Alright. I'm just gonna bounce the Cryptic because I win this turn. And I don't know, whatever. I'm just gonna untap a permanent, I guess. It really didn't matter. Let's just hope he's not one of those people that forces me to, you know, sit there and make dudes all day, because that's really annoying. I mean, he played a good game. He should not force me to... Okay, good. Thank you, sir. I do this. What I do is I usually make people make 3, and if they can make 3 without being complete idiots, then I know they can win the game. Alright, so here I'm going to add in Keranos, I'm going to add in Jace to deal with his Hawks, negates, Blood Moon could actually work in this. Bring in Batterskull. I'm basically taking out all of the, I'm taking out all of the, what is it called? Like, all of the combo tricks, and just keeping it to, you know, kind of like beatdown style. That's why I'm adding in Redirect. Redirect is very good against counter spells. It's, I don't need Redirect that badly. It's basically just like, now it's a blue-red Delver beatdown deck without Delver, so... It's alright, it just means you have to play really tight. Like, you can't play badly. when you take the combo out of a combo deck, your deck loses something. It loses that like punch that it needs. You also need to remember that your cards do things aside from, you know, making an infinite combo. They do stuff. Like Deceiver Exarch actually like can, you know, play the role of disruption. So this is also a good hand on the draw. I have no problems with it. Okay, so that's good. I got Serum Visions, I got Peak, I love a land. I will put that on top. What you want is you usually want you want that in your hand on when you're on the draw in your opening hand, so that way you can play a fetch land, leave it untapped, and then when they go to play a 2-drop, you can counter it. But that's with Spell Snare. But in this matchup, I have a feeling Spell Snare is going to play more of the role of countering a remand. Here, I'd love to draw a land. All right, there are 2 lands. That's even better. That's better than 1 land. I can Serum Visions again. I'm waiting for Pyromancer's Ascension, which isn't in my deck, but I don't know if you guys remember this, but there was a time when Pyromancer's Ascension had and Splinter Twin were the same deck. They had Pyromancer's Ascension in the sideboard, or they would have Splinter Twin in the sideboard, so like if you tried to beat one, you'd run into the other. It was pretty badass. That was good magic back then. And then I think at the end of his turn I'm going to Peak. Although I think Hexing Probe is just far more quality a card. I mean, it's 0 mana to, you know, to do exactly what Peak does. You have to be really aggressive though with your burn spells. Ooh, Grim Lavamancer. That could be a game changer. Not gonna lie. Right, let's see what I gotta deal with here. I gotta deal with a Path Terminus, Cryptic. Oh god. So he's got the whole package here. Not gonna lie. Now I gotta think this through. I want to get the Grim Lavamancer into play, but I doubt that's occurring anytime soon. Also, my negate is now negated by his Spell Snare, and he has nothing I can really snare. I can Deceiver Exarch on the end of his turn if he doesn't draw a land. God, this is bad. This is really bad for me right now, I'm not gonna lie. Alright, I drew a Snapcaster. The worst things could have occurred. So I'm just gonna throw the Lavamancer out there. Worst case scenario, he tries to path it and I negate it, and then he has to use his entire next turn. Yeah, that's fine. I'm going to just negate the Condescend. He has to use most of his next turn, essentially killing off my. Depending on whether or not he draws, I'm basically making a calculated risk here that he doesn't draw another land this turn. And he's forced to path my Lavamancer, which will allow me to do other exciting things. Alright, good. So, grab an island. Damn, he did draw land. That's annoying. He drew a land, but he put it in play on tap, so that's good for me. I can go Snap Bolt, pass, or I can go for Deceiver Exarch. And then I can go for Snap Bolt. and then run it headfirst into a terminus. I'm just gonna tap. Actually, yeah, untapping seems smart. I can cryptic, and then when he goes to path my dude, I can bounce my dude back to hand and draw a card. And then Snapcaster, bring back Cryptic, bouncing Snapcaster and drawing a card. That seems like a pretty good move. Alright. Or I can just, my other plan here is Cryptic, play Snap, bolt him, but if I snap, he plays Snare. So that's a slight issue. Squadron Hawk, well, I have a snare for that. I have no problem snaring Squadron Hawk. Since that seems to be his main win con, let's just cross off things that we've seen that he has. Alright, that's pretty good. Alright, there's a bolt. Now I have like bolt, snap, bolt, cryptic, snap, bolt. That's pretty good. So I'm not gonna argue there. Let's just, play this correctly and not make any mistakes, because we're both getting to that point where lands are plentiful and the cards that you have are, these are the most important cards you could have, are the cards that are in your hand. Also, his terminus is now pointless. I mean, it's not pointless, but, it's not very good. I'm ahead of him on lands, but drawing my filter land would be really nice right now. I need him to make the first move. I think that's the only way I can win this with this hand. Ooh, another bolt. Don't mind if I do. So now I have, if in a perfect vacuum, it would be bolt, snap bolt, cryptic, draw a card, return Snapcaster to my hand, replay Snapcaster bolt, and then do replay cryptic, bouncing Snapcaster bolt. Alright. So I'm going to remand my Snapcaster Mage here, thus negating, although wouldn't redirect have been sick here? Could have redirected the Spell Snare to his Squadron Hawk. That would have been dirty. I don't have the mana to Cryptic though, so if he does have another counterspell, I'm screwed. If he's still playing like more than one Condescend, that's fine. I have the mana to pay for it. Unless he also has like random Simian Spirit Guides. Alright, so while I wish that Spell Snare would do what it's intended to do, that's fine. He's gonna go grab some of his little Hawk buddies, but he only has 3 remaining in the deck. I don't know how this guy won the first round, I'll be honest. I mean, either I'm playing really well or his deck is just really bad. Or his opponent was really bad, my bad. I mean, his deck is just so weird. What's the odd? He top decks and entreat, right? Alright, so here I'm gonna go. I can go Snapcaster Bolt. I'm just gonna go Bolt. And then I'm going to Snap Bolt, leave up Cryptic, because I have the extra land now. I need to remember that I have no more basic lands I could fetch for. Here I'm going for Snapcaster Bolt. Then I'm going to wait for him to make a play, cryptic my Snapcaster, back to my hand, replay it, bolt him again. God, this is fun. God, this is so frustrating. This is really frustrating, by the way. Which will put him at a grand total of 5. So I need to cryptic again, bouncing Snapcaster. Okay, I'm in pretty good shape, I think. We'll see. I'm just, I guess I'm playing this tight. Apparently so is he. Oh good, okay, Electrolyze should do it. I'm gonna bolt myself here, put myself down to 14. Which is totally cool, no problems. Because I want to electrolyze, and then electrolyze his bird and him, putting him at 4. Or do we just electrolyze him? Not really sure. This is the, if he was to use that, it's a wasteland right now. Not kidding you. It's a legitimate wasteland. I have 0 basic lands remaining in my deck. Also, it would take me off my plan of electrolyze and return Snapcaster in my hand with Cryptic. Although I'm at 15, I don't know why I'm so worried about the bird. I probably should just do the damage directly to him. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's Cryptic mana. Alright, so I'm putting on not having another counterspell. I mean, that's easy enough, right? So I'm going to counter, return a permanent I control, which in this case is Snapcaster. Well, return a permanent, which in this case is Snapcaster. Return Snapcaster to my hand, and allow Electrolyze to resolve. Maybe. Who knows? This Magic's a crazy game. I think he's trying to figure out what actually just happened. This is like what playing tight, like this is like pro level play here I'm showing you guys. It's where you get to see this kind of skill. Alright, so he's tapping manas. He's gonna remand. Okay, that's fine. You got main. What did he remand? I don't know. I got a cryptic out of it, so alright. Let's try this again, shall we? If I tap all creatures my opponent controls and draw a card, I get in 2, and that puts him at 3. I have a feeling that he's going to block if I do attack, although that only leaves him with 2 win conditions remaining in the deck, so I have no idea. I don't know. It's hard when you're playing against, like, it's almost like, you know, you're playing against an unknown deck entirely. So I have absolutely no clue. Either way, I'm just going to bounce that back to his hand. Draw a card and attack for 2. Get him for them Snapcaster beats. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, path. I'm going to return target permanent to my hand, draw a card. Right? I think that seems correct. That's the best use of 2 cryptic commands in the history of mankind. Or I could counter the path, leave Snapcaster in play. Or I could just remand the path. He doesn't have mana open. Ooh, another remand. Sweet. And an electrolyze. Even sweeter. Alright. So I can get him down to 1 by attacking. That's fine. Passing turn. in what is, this is why they need Flusterstorm and Modern. This is the soul matchup. Although I suggest that nobody here play Twin once they release that new 1-mana Combust. Yeah, that's fine. You already have all your Squadron Hawks remaining left in hand. Why you don't play them, I have no idea. I just don't think that Squadron Hawk Terminus is ready for the Modern spotlight yet. But we will see. Alright. Dispel is much better, obviously, than, Remand or Cryptic and all that other junk. I also have to remember that he has a Path to Exile in his hand. But I'm putting him down to Lethal from Snapcaster. And he's remanding it. And I'm gonna Flusterstorm his remand. Oh wait, he'd have mana to pay for it. That would suck. Alright, so I'm gonna counter target spell, draw a card. Because I have enough to do at least one counter, which is good. I mean, it helps that I drew every Cryptic command in my deck, but alright, he's cracking. So if he taps out, then he won't have mana for Path. If he doesn't have mana for Path, then I just win the game, so that would be good. Alright, he's going for a... Ooh, he went for the big the big counter. But I have a small counter. Alright, so Cryptic... So, Remand, Resolve, Cryptic resolves, all that resolves, all the fun stuff. Alright, good. And I drew a land that I could play and remand something, and I win the match.